Good morning. Another task today needs to be done, and that's changing the oil. We've got one of these flex powers that came with the Brinkley, and the user manual says that you need to change the oil before the first 20 hours is up and check the spark plug so that you can make sure that any manufacturing pieces or anything like that are cleaned out. We've had our generator now for 6 months almost, and we've only run it about 18 hours, but we are getting ready to maybe boondock here in the next week, and we may need to be running our generator some more. The other thing is that with the Victron system we have now, every 30 days it kicks on and runs the generator for about 20 minutes as a monthly status. So I need to make sure I get the oil changed. So Ross and Jackie at Chasing 70 Degrees did a video a couple months ago now on how to change the oil. It was really great, but there's one slight difference between ours and theirs. So for really detailed on how to do it or on what they did, I'm going to point you to them, but we have a slightly different, I'm going to point that out as we go along, and I've got some different equipment and we're going to see how it works. I have a feeling his solution worked a little, is going to work better than mine, but you get what you can from Home Depot, and this was available, so maybe it will work, maybe it won't, maybe it gives you a background. So before we go any further, let me just say this is how I'm doing it. This is definitely not an instruction manual on how to do it. User manual is here. Make sure you follow the user manual, and if you don't feel comfortable doing it.
Trucks rumbling, coffee in hand, had a plan, yeah. This was the plan. We're rolling into the story, winging it naturally. A little bit of chaos, a little bit of wait and see. If it all goes sideways, yeah, that's where we shine. Oh yeah, so buckle up, hang on, you're riding this ride with me.
Okay, so the things that we're going to need for the repair today are, we have the user's manual and the kit that came with our Brinkley. I've seen something online that says some people didn't get it. I think the dealer was supposed to be in it, supposed to put it in, but it came in this little bag. Got the installation manual, the user manual. Came with a funnel, a screwdriver, a spark plug tool, and then this is my tube that I'm hopefully going to use to help drain the oil. I have my spark plug wrench, a small oil pan, definitely not enough for the truck, but it will work for this. This only takes 1.5 jugs of oil, and then specifically SAE 30 motor oil, not blended. Obviously I got this from Napa. The last thing I want to talk about is the spark plug. So Ross mentioned this in his video. These take specialized spark plugs. There is a list in the owner's manual of spark plugs that are candidates for use. I couldn't find them at any of my local Motorcraft stores or AutoZone or anything like that. I ended up having to go online and find it on Amazon. And the one that I was able to find on Amazon is a N9YC, and I will put the link to that in our Amazon store in this video. I believe it's a slightly smaller length this way or something like that because of the tight space in the generator. So just know that you need to look for the specific models that they list in the user's manual. So let's go ahead and get this started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to turn the generator on for a couple of minutes to get it warm. Before I do that, I am going to I can manually start the generator. You do that by taking those plugs up, but what I want to do is, I really don't want to interrupt power to the house. So I'm going to turn the breakers off so that now when it runs, it will just go ahead and run without interrupting the circuit to the house. So I go ahead, turn the breakers off. Okay, so that's run for a couple of minutes. It should have the oil at least a little warm. So now we can go ahead and get started on this. The first thing we have to do is safety-wise, and the manual says this, is to disconnect the negative terminal on the battery. I don't have a clue where that is, so I'm gonna have to go hunt for it. The reason I don't have a clue of where the negative terminal is that I watched Ross's video too many months ago and I've forgotten. Okay, so I'm getting ready to test fit this, and what I forgot is that this is too long. You have to cut it. So let's take a look and see how this is going to fit, and then we can kind of guesstimate the measurements. So
will the big part of that go up in the hole?
No. Okay. So this is the center hole. And you can see that there is the drain plug. But it turns out, and I don't know that the camera's going to pick this up, but if you put this up in, this 1 1/4 inch OD actually goes up all the way into this hole. So it actually goes past it. So if you had a 1 1/2 inch OD, it would just come to, if you had a 1 1/2 inch OD, it would just come to this outer edge here. But the 1 1/4 goes into that. So I think this is actually going to work even better.
Okay, so my role in any project is to sit here, obviously run the camera, but also to listen to my husband dig through the bottom of the basement and say things like, oh shit, I don't have that.
Not the optimal way to do this. You couldn't do this with regular Schedule 4D PVC, but this is cheap plastic.
Like a sanding block or sandpaper or anything, too.
Anyway, okay.
We have more. We can make another one if we need
Yeah, so the next thing I need to do is I need to find the negative terminal here and take it off the battery. Ah, there we go.
Okay, so let's shoot down what you're looking at. It's still on.
Okay, so I have to admit, I don't know if this is standard or not because the generator's been modified for a remote start with my Victron system versus one control or Firefly. So in my case, here's the negative coming in from the 12-volt battery. So what I can do is I can just take this off, and that'll make sure that I don't, there's that negative. In fact, what I probably want to do at some point is take this off and put a disconnect here. But for that, I can just take that off. Okay.
Okay. And we've gotten serious. We have all the things.
What do you know?
The very first one?
Yeah. It is a 13.
13 millimeter.
Now.
Okay, here we go again.
Okay. Now I've got my 2 lugs off, and that's the negative post. So one of the things I was worried about was this air filter. And I was worried that I was going to have to take this whole lid off because that's really painful. But it turns out that right here on the side, there is a knob, and that just comes off quite easily. I've already pre-loosened it. It took more than that. But you can bring this out and then pull that out and then get to this. And there's a little bit of oil on it. So we need to take that in and...
Do I just clean it with Dawn?
You just clean it with some soap and squeeze it out. Yeah, Dawn would be great. And squeeze it out and get it dry.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Oh, cool. Okay, so I got the air filter out. Now I need to take this out. And I want to check the oil. So let's take a look at that. Okay. So first off, that looks really clean. It looks really good. Let's go ahead and, I mean, you could see down in there, it's really clean. If it wasn't for the spec that said we needed to change this, I would not be tempted to change this. But let's take a look. Okay. Oh yeah. That's really nice and clean. That's really nice and clean. Okay. So I now have that open. So now it's time to drain this thing, right? And while we're doing it, let's change the oil, or let's change the spark plug. So in Ross's video, he had to remove this whole cap because this hole is not here on his version. Apparently, at some point they changed models of this just slightly, and there's now a cap here, or a hole in the cap. And what you can do is you can see that right down in there.
Mine relatively clean air filter.
And you can see that is the spark plug connector. So I pull that out of the way and that out of the way, and hopefully I should then be able to get my hands in here. No, that's not going to work.
Guys, this is what happens when you watch an electrical engineer do things that are mechanical. Right, honey?
Yeah, I really don't want to bend that too much. I don't know why, but I feel like I don't want to bend it.
I feel like you don't want to bend it either. Is that just the wrench?
Yeah, it's just a wrench heading. Aha!
Success?
Oh man, that's a pain in the ass. Okay, so what you end up with is you gotta get that big thing there off the spark plug, and then the spark plug is down in there, and oh, that spark plug looks like it could be changed very nicely. No, but that's okay. I'm going to change the oil first and then put the spark plug in. Why does that scare me? Okay. I could use the tool that they gave me if it will fit in here. Guess what?
It fits?
No, it doesn't. I don't know what good this is because it won't fit in here.
Well, they're probably not, even though they have it set up so that you can do this. The person who invented that tool did not think you would be doing it that way.
That sucks.
So do your projects go this way too, ladies? I just want to know.
Round 3, 4, whatever I'm up to of the tools. Okay, I can put that in like that, and then put that in like that. They did not put any oil on these threads before they put this in here. Yeah, just a little bit. Huh. For 20 hours?
That actually looks like it's been used a lot more than 20 hours to me. What do you think?
That's what I was thinking. I think I'm kind of glad I went to the effort to pull that out. Okay, so I now have a drain path, air coming in, right? So now I'm ready to get my oil, right? So now what I need to do is figure out what tooling I need for that. Let's see.
That is in the book.
No, it's not. Ugh. Lovely. So this is now looking at this nut, and I can't figure out what this nut is. I don't have a clue. So I'm gonna try a small socket extension first. That's close, but not right. Okay, time for some research. Let's go to the tape. Okay, last question. Can you please do me a favor? In this drawer that's over here, I've got a box of gloves.
Oh, yeah, you do need gloves. Okay.
No, that's okay. This isn't gonna work. I'm gonna have to go to Denard's. Okay, so I can't get the oil plug out. I don't have, this is a socket extension, a small one. It's a quarter-inch drive, I think. This doesn't quite fit. I was hoping that this was a little bigger and it would fit. It fits, but when I start putting pressure or torque on it, it slips, so that won't work. I can't use a rubber band on it because I can't get up in there enough to get the rubber band to have it hold, and then on top of it, I'm worried about the rubber band breaking and going inside the oil pan, which would obviously be bad. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to run 20 minutes each way to get tooling, and the part number is not, the size is not labeled on anything we can find. Angela did a search online and came up with 7 or 8 millimeter inverse socket, or socket plug, or whatever they're called. So I may have to go buy a small set of those just to get the right thing for this. When I figure it out, you can be sure that I will post it here. Okay, well, here we are, an hour and a half later, I guess. I'm sure that there are people who are already telling me in the comments that I could have done what I needed to do with a hex key. And yes, you're right, I could have. I got down to the car supply store and realized that just as I was walking out of the truck going, I could have used a hex key. But anyway, I got a 7 and an 8 because a 1/4 inch is roughly about 7 or 8. So hopefully this will work, and if not, I do have hex keys. It'll just be messy. So let's see what we can do. Okay. Well, it's not the 7. Hopefully it'll be the 8. Because I really... It is the 8. And what I'm going to need is I'm going to need this because it's going to be difficult. So let's grab this and this. Oh. And let's not forget these because this is going to be a mess. Okay. Let's see if I can't figure out how to do this without getting this all over the place. Okay, so that goes in like that. That goes in like that. Okay. Man, I really don't want oil on my hat. So we'll put it over there. There we go. Come on. Okay. Does fit. I gotta tell you, that oil's pretty clean. While I'm waiting for this to drip, if I had to do this again, or if you're doing this, I cut this off. You saw I cut it off just based on where it was down here. I would recommend that you measure this based on how long your socket drive is, and you use that. That would be a better measurement to use rather than just taking it off of this, because if your socket drive's longer, you can get it further down here so that you have less drip problems, right? And it makes it a little easier to hold the pipe up. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna call this done. And try and put this back up in here, which is gonna be the fun part. Blind, not being able to see. See if I can do this without getting a face full of oil. These are messy, so I can take one off and maybe get a little more feel on this. I really don't want to cross thread this. Now this thing was flush the last time I saw it, so I want to do that again. I'm just hoping I didn't get that cross-threaded, but it doesn't seem like it. Okay, I'm gonna call that good. That's about as tight as I can get that. Okay. Now, I need to get my new spark plug up here and then figure out how to get this little thing back in it and then fill it with oil. Got it. So it just kind of slid in there, right? I want to do this by touch. I'm going to need two hands to do it, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get in here and get this in by touch so that I don't cross thread it. And then I will put a socket wrench on it, or a spark plug wrench on it here in a second. Okay, well, I lied. What I found is that my hands were really tough to get in through down here. But I found that if I put the spark plug socket on here with a small extender, it seemed like it lined up the spark plug just about perfect. So I think it's going in without too many problems. It feels pretty decent, so let's put the next extension on and see what happens. Okay, so sure enough, that snugged up just nicely, went all the way in. So now you get it tight, and you put another little quarter turn on it, and you're good. Now comes the fun part of getting this back in there, right? And you see that that goes in like that. And it's definitely two hands. Okay, so I got that wiggled back on, and then it looks like these come back up, right? And so I got a cable tie there, or a cable thing here. And I need to put my air filter back in. And you can't tell, but there is a cutout, a half moon cutout right here on this edge. So we're gonna put that in like that. And then feed that back in like that. And I'm so right-handed. Okay, so there's little plastic groove latch things up here. You got to put it in, and then I'm just using, you know, the old. Okay, that's down. Okay, now, last but not least, is you fill it with oil. And we know that this takes 1.6 quarts, so I'm going to put 1 in, 1.5 or 1 1/3 in, and get it started after reattaching my battery post over here, my negative leg. So let's go ahead and get that oil in. Okay, so I put the plug in, and I may have overfilled it just a little bit. You can see it's right down in there, but I think that if I start it, it should be okay, because there's gonna need to be some stuff going into the engine. So let's go ahead and put that back in. I need to tie off my ground here, and we'll give this a start. Okay, so here's the key, right, is that you want this big ground lug to go against the bottom, or to go against the plate. So let's get that on. After fighting with it all day of keeping it off of there, now it's time to go back on. And then this, I think, is the ground for the communications link there. Okay, and I've got a lock washer. And my handy dandy 13. Let's try actually doing it the right way. I gotta tell you, props to everyone who manages to do this stuff with one hand and make it look easy. Now, this is the ground leg you want it to be. Tight. Okay, so in theory now, I should be able to start this thing. Let's double check. I have the air filter back on. I've put oil in it. That's closed. Have the spark plug back in it. Let's go underneath and crawl and make sure that I don't see anything leaking underneath. Right? I'm putting my cap on my oil so that I don't. And I gotta tell you, I want to keep an eye on this. That seems to be really dirty for 20 hours. Now that I've done this, I may want to watch this. Okay, let's take a look. Well, that seems to be pretty good. Doesn't seem to be leaking. So let's give this thing a shot and start it up and see what happens. And like last time, I don't want any load on it, right? So I've got the circuit breakers off, and here we go. Okay, we're gonna let it sit for a minute or two and come check the level of the oil. But I think that's gonna be it for today. My project that was supposed to take 20 minutes took a couple of hours. As you can see, the weather's nice out here. We're supposed to get some weather, some rain in this evening for the next 4 or 5 days. So I want to wrap it up and see if we can't get on to doing something a little more fun, like going to see the lake with the kids. So thanks for watching. Again, this is how I did it. Obviously, I made some mistakes, so this is not an authoritative video. This is for your entertainment purposes. All in all, it wasn't bad. I will say that you know, I think that the 1 1/4 inch pipe worked pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm glad I didn't have to use the Dremel to open up that hole a little bit more. But generator looked pretty good. I am glad I changed the spark plug. So if you've been sitting on a generator that's below 20 hours, but it's got over 8 or 10, it might be worthwhile to go ahead and get that spark plug changed and take a look at it and watch it, because that was pretty dirty for only 15 hours. So anyway, thanks for watching. Do me a favor, hit the like and the subscribe button. It means a lot to small channels like us, and we'll see you in the next one.
I've been so many places, I've seen them all with open eyes. Seen islands, open spaces, Serengeti sun slowly rise. All these memories, I hold them near me when I sail the Aegean Sea. There's one place for me. Take me to the place where I come from, the only place where I really belong. Take me 'cause this voyage seems so long. Back to